your neck, bet they on your neck. You want that watch, you better rock it tech. You want the chain, you better cop a vest. You want the check, but can you make it stretch?
Welcome to Root Zones, bringing you the good news and the bad news of crypto. My name is Wayne, and if you like money in crypto, make sure to smash the subscribe button. So today, we're going to talk about is crypto the end of days as we know it. Now, it's going to be a challenging year, a start of 2022. And we are just only in 21 days, and we are starting to see quite a lot of issues that is coming up. Yes, what's happening over the ground, right? So the US, although this is a crypto channel, I'm just going to talk a bit about the US. So the US stocks, of course, have also extended a decline after weeks of earning. High-tech, heavy industry like the Nasdaq, where investors wait for the Fed policy meetup, and this is going to happen sometime next week. And it's a kind of a domino effect, right? The US stock look to set another day of losses in this Friday after a brutal tech sell-off. We were doing well. Bitcoin was coming up to maybe about 43,000, and then suddenly it plunges, broke the support level, and now it's trading I think somewhere around 38,000 if as at this time of this recording. And of course, the next support level for Bitcoin we will be looking at is at 30,000. That's like the floor of Bitcoin. Can it drop further? Who knows? I mean, it really depends on whether people actually, through the selling pressure, decides to actually sell. So, investors are actually anxiously waiting for the Fed policy meeting next week and details of its plans to cool off inflation. Now, this cooling off inflation, of course, has been talk of the town for the last couple of months, with the plans to actually, increase the interest rates, right? So a lot of this is going to have, very adverse effects on the on leverage, right, on borrowing money. So this is going to be something. And we have also Evergrande coming up sometime in March, whether they will also default on their payments. There's a lot of things going on, guys. It's a lot of things from Russia to China. China, of course, the second big Bitcoin holders, and yet they are also doing their banning of trying to find out more miners that are in China who have not left the country and are operating illegally. So oil prices, of course, slight more than 1%, coming to a considerable pressure on a gloomy market sentiment. So we had the Dow Jones, and the SP 500 also dipped to 0.4. Futures fell also for 0.4. Netflix stumbled more than 20%, reporting poor fourth quarter earnings. We have Roku, Disney falling by 5 to 4%, and also the pre-market trading after plummeting 23%. And as all we speak about this, we also have this Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen, who said that inflation has risen more than she and other economics as expected. So the former chief said that she's confident that central bank and Biden administration will take steps to bring the price pressures over 2022. So of course, there's a legendary investor, Jeremy Granham, who predicted the last three market bubbles on Thursday, called for a 50% crash in the SP 500, and what he's called as the fourth super bubble burst. So of course, things can happen now. It could be one of the world's greatest wealth transfer we could see. Perhaps when that bubble pops, maybe it's kind of a hope and pray strategy is that maybe that money will flow into Bitcoin, being a store of value, with that limited supply. Any money will go into gold and silver, and money will go into the crypto space. Hopefully, because most of those investors who have billions and millions of dollars knows that if they were to keep that in the bank, holding on to fiat in less than 5 years, that would actually be a 50% loss, right? It will actually due to inflation. So of course, the Shanghai Composite fell also by 0.9 because all of us, the whole world is actually interconnected. And the Nikkei index also declined 0.4. European markets slightly fell. The London also has dropped more than 0.8%. So oil prices traded lower and near the highest level since 2014. Now, demand in December also held up better and feared despite the spread of Omicron virus variant, and tensions in Eastern Europe and Middle East are supporting prices due to fear of new supply disruptions, according to UBS. So we have all these oil plays that is happening out. We have this corona, the C19, right? This Omicron variant that is causing disruptions in the market. And then we have the rise of the technology, and as well as the disruption of that technology. Our sell off actually is causing a lot of issues in the market. So let's head over to the crypto side of things. So Russia, of course, proposes ban on use on the crypto mining and cryptocurrency. So seems Russia now has also onboarded, and we know that Russia and China have always been close during times of war, or times of almost like the end of days, if so to say. So Russia C Bank proposes a ban of cryptocurrency use. Regulator warns that financial is a risk to financial stability. Analyst has a wider impact of negligible for now. The ban on cryptocurrency exchanges was also postponed. Post proposed. Okay, so the move latest of the global currency crackdown, as governments from Asia and United States worry that privately operated on high volatility digital currencies could undermine their control on financial and monetary system. Nothing new, guys. We know already that this technology is here to stay. We have the Web 3.0, the blockchain technology, and it's actually creating a disruption. And then as government regulation comes in very hard on central exchanges, money actually is flowing into the DeFi, therefore giving birth to kind of pushing the retail investors more to trade on DeFi, which also have certain risks, and we have covered many of those risks. And that's why today owning a ledger or cold wallet is something that you become a bank yourself, right? Of course, just don't lose this bank. Hi, Nabi Gaming. Welcome to the channel. So yeah, don't miss out on this. As also Robinhood starts rolling out their own crypto wallets, and this will be proposed cryptocurrency exchange. Binance told Reuters that they have committed to working with regulators and hope that the report will release a world of spawn dialogues of the central bank to protect interests of Russia crypto users. So looks like the world is going a bit out of whack, guys. In today's Friday that I'm covering, Manish, of course, won't be joining us today, and because he's, I think, maybe feeling a bit down because of the crypto space. Even for myself, I'm not doing well myself today. Just just thinking about where the world is going. But one thing that is kept me going is always that dollar cost average, based on mathematics over the last 3 years. If you do that all the way, you will do well. I'll come back to your questions. Just give me a second, so we'll have a discussion on that. So for now, no plans on the ban on cryptocurrency. Similarly to the experience of China, the approach we have will propose and suffice. So the other thing also is the crypto mining, right? We have to keep 51% of the networks up, right? And all this ban that is happening, and where the China miners have actually moved their infrastructure over to other parts of the countries around the world. They have issues with power shortages. They have to do it mining underground. So it's a gonna be, it almost feel like you're getting choked, kind of squeeze, and we are like running out of funds as retailers. I mean, that's the behavior, and that's the norm of retailers compared to institutions, compared to countries, compared to whales, right? Who has a lot of funds, and it's a different set of problems. On one hand, we as retailers are trying to make that $1 million, right? We're on this journey to make that million, and get out of to be financially free, to get that wealth that we all dream of. And on the other side of the coin, the rich people, the people who has all this money, knows that they can't keep their money in the banks, and they have to kind of constantly find ways and avenues to reinvest large volume of money, because borrowing was very cheap, right? Almost close to 0%. So this is a kind of a, of course, it's better to sit on a pile of cash and look for opportunities to reinvest your money, rather than to be on the other side of the coin, working in a full-time job and trying to buy assets that can produce cash flow, right? So that's something that we will be discussing a bit later, as I go through this articles. So the other thing also, the Fed calls a central bank digital coin a highly significant innovation in the white paper. Federal Reserve on Thursday issued a long-awaited paper exploring the benefits and negatives of central bank digital currency, the CBDC. So the Fed laid out its list of pros and cons associated with adopting CBDC, but it did not come as a formal conclusion, right? The move comes from countries like China to press forward with their digital currency plans in the midst of a wide-ranging debate on how cryptocurrencies are transforming the financial sector and how they should be regulated. Now, the introduction of CBDC, of course, is a significant innovation in American money. The Fed wrote in the paper the CBDC itself would be a liability of the Fed, not the commercial banks. Very important note to note here, right? So partnering with private sector, the Feds would be leveraging banks' existing privacy and identity management frameworks and innovation to try to stave off the disruption of the US financial system. So the Feds, of course, laid out several risk scenarios, including how banks rely on the deposit and could see a decline if the CBDC is adopted in mass, right? So this very important thing, guys. If you look at this, one of the risks, how banks rely on deposits, right? So this alone tells us that that's how the banks print money, right? Of course, money is just an idea, just like cryptocurrency is also an idea. The only difference is that one has a legal backing, right? The stamp, a mark of approval of governments to say that that idea is carved in stone and it has a certain amount of value, right? So it's an exchange of value. But in the crypto space, we are also in some way like the DAO. We are also in a way printing money, right? You use your fiat dollar, you exchange for tokens, and these tokens value is only determined by the narrative. That means you and me as holders believe in a particular token, believe in a particular project that gives it its value. Other than that, in terms of intrinsic value, in terms of we have to look at the projects on their on what are they actually producing in terms of use cases. So don't go and buy certain things that may not have any use cases, and that's what we saw in the recent bear market that has happened in the last couple of months. So that's something to take note, a lot of things to ponder about when you are doing deciding when to actually invest. And I use the word invest because it is for the long haul. I'm not a trader. I don't do trading. I do trading, but I'm clear when I'm doing investing in a particular project as well as trading specific coins. And of course, there's two models of mindset that you need to know. One is, are you in for capital appreciation? That means almost like similar to a house. You buy it at $50,000 and you hope that 50,000 becomes 100,000. Therefore, having a 2x, right? So that's capital appreciation. The other mindset is, are you looking at cash flow? And here at Rootzone's main aim is to look at cash flow, because how many times can you recall where you did dollar cost average so many times until you ran out of money? So that is something to take note when you are actually deciding how you're going to channelize your funds, understand the risk, understand the project fundamentals, looking at the technical analysis and the cash flow status. So of course, there's a battle line that draws in Congress. The Feds decided to move forward with CBDC. The central banks will need to authorize this from Congress. I don't know how will this actually implicate the current premium coins, right? Because if it's CBDC, means we will start to see the death of printing dollars, and we'll just have everything in digital form. And it could be just one token. Maybe you have the United States token, you have the Singapore token, and many of the countries will have their token, as well as there's this other realm, right, which is non-CBDC. It is just pure cryptocurrencies that we are trading. So how all this will play out and integrate, I have to actually check this white paper out, and maybe might come out a special edition for you guys if you are interested in. So last but not least, of course, MicroStrategy CEO won't sell his 5 billion Bitcoin stash despite the crypto winter. Our MicroStrategy, Michael Saylor, has no intention of selling from his firm the 5 billion shares despite the 40% drop in value. So even if Bitcoin suffers a lengthy bear market, Saylor told Bloomberg that he is a Bitcoin bull and he does not intend to alter MicroStrategy's multi-million-dollar Bitcoin acquisition plan. He took a firm stance against cashing out Bitcoin. And he said in a quote, "Never, no, we are not sellers. We are only acquiring and holding Bitcoin. That's our strategy." He kept things very simple, guys, because he understood uh, the blockchain. He understood the narrative. He understood the value proposition based on supply and demand, and the consensus of people coming together and buying, right? Institutions and countries buying into Bitcoin. And that was a debate that they had, I believe, with Schiffer on digital gold versus the actual physical gold, which we have no exposure to know how many mines are there, and there's manipulation in terms of actually playing with the supply and demand that correlates to price action movement, right? Okay, so despite the recent market sell-off, Saylor said that Bitcoin is one of the best inflation hedges, an alternative for stock buybacks event. He dismissed any concerns about the cryptocurrency decline from its all-time high at 69,000 in November to less than 40,000 in a month. Now, stating that this is because inflation is so high, the company assets are actually a source of great comfort. Saylor, who previously branded cash melting ice cube, anticipates more Wall Street names will buy Bitcoin at the current price, describing it as a great entry point for institution investors, right? So, of course, some institutions found a way to, to look at taxation, to look at buyback strategies using their corporation to acquire something which has a store of value. If you actually compare that to other, like the banking sector, they have certain laws in order for them to execute trades to go into the crypto space. So, I mean, one industry, of course, we know is called the fintech, right? So it's a financial technology, and they are also looking to harness the technology so that we rapidly move out on printing of the money, and having money being recorded, tying back to the identity of the user known as KYC, and transacting are actually monitored. I think that the whole idea is about monitoring. That's why you hear a lot of these regulations to ensure that we do not kind of go on the dark web and then have money laundered into that path. So there's good and bad. Not saying that regulations are wrong, but we have seen how regulations has actually impeded the value, guys. So in cryptocurrency, what happens is that we unlock value. That's why you can see these crazy high APYs that you can get. Only challenge right now in the crypto space is the price action. So it takes money to make money. You just have to understand. So if you look at the macro level, right now with the 3 trillion, if that actually explodes to 2x, and we are looking at $6 trillion, where will you be in terms of your premium coins? You know that 50% will be taken by Bitcoin, 20% will be taken by Ethereum, or maybe Ethereum will surpass Bitcoin, taking maybe about 80% of the market. That leaves the 10% of that $6 trillion to the rest of the 16,000 cryptocurrencies, right? So that's how the whole ecosystem of crypto works, right? It takes money to, and only 5 to 10% of those coins actually have certain intrinsic value, which means that it was able to generate revenue through buy and sell transactions. That volume on the current network that sits on the proof of work or proof of stake is how these layer ones, layer twos, the protocols up all the way to the DApps correlate. So you got to have clear a clarity on some projects. Where do they sit on? How do they generate revenue? What is the cost of that? And also looking from a security angle, what kind of risk there is associated. So you got to have the ability to actually read the codes of the protocol, right? And most of these code are all considered as smart contract, and they are actually seated on those platforms, right? We can look at Bitcoin being on the proof of stake, proof of work, sorry, and then for Ethereum, which is the Microsoft of the world, right? So most of the times, if Root Zones were to ever develop a project, we will actually be looking at Ethereum, because Ethereum will be the Microsoft of the world. It is expensive, but the expensive actually creates holders to actually be. When I use the word hodlers or holders, right? Basically, what it means is that the ability to not sell, right? So that is the gamification of cryptocurrencies. When you and me believes in a project and we don't sell, the network uh, becomes stable, right? The price action becomes stable. So that's why we have things like staking. And so when you stake into a particular project for X amount of times, you get rewarded. Of course, as retail investors, we always want to look at two things. something more than 15%, because 15% is the current inflation across the world, right? Across the globe. I'm just giving a kind of an average. And you want something more than 15% so that and you want volume, right? And we don't have deep pockets, right? If we were millionaires, we may not be playing this game. We might be playing a very different game of market manipulation. And it's easy to manipulate a market which is so small compared to all the other four asset classes, right? We have business, we have paper assets, we have gold and silver, which we don't know what is the supply, and we have cryptocurrencies. So hopefully, with all this law, and I know Gensler, Gensler, before he actually became the chairman of SEC, he was already teaching in MIT, right, Massachusetts Institute of Technology. So he understands the technology. He understands, now they are going hard, not only on the crypto, especially like with XRP, but they are also looking at stable coins, because stable coins itself have a different way of how it's actually pegged to the US dollars, right? For most of it. And that stability has a lot of how do I say, dynamics inside. I might have to actually do a deep dive from the code point of view to let guys know how it actually works on the technology. And the best person, of course, is Manish, and hopefully he will do a piece for you guys if you are interested to know more on the technology. Because with that knowledge, understanding the blockchain, then you don't be just like a retail investors based on hype, based on buy the rumors and sell the news. You will have clarity on the actual value proposition of the technology, right? And then how that actually has intrinsic value, how does that actually generate revenue. And with that understanding, that is where you do dollar cost average. Don't take dollar cost average and just put it on anything, because you can do cost average on time wonderland. And you have seen in the last few months, and I've even covered a piece on how much I've lost. I think one investment that I did was about 11,000, and today is close to maybe $1,000 or $2,000. So there's a loss of 8,000 US there, with the hopes of maybe in a year that particular 1,000 would grow into 1 million. But then that 1 million could be the price of the price could be less than 1 cent. So even if I were to cash out that 1 million, the question is, can I get back my initial investment of 11,000? So there's money that's lost in the Dow. Even if you look at great projects like Titano with a fixed APY, which is they are the first. Today, there's two more. There's a fork out from Titano. They are seated on the FTM network, right? And we are still in conversations with David from Titano, and great project. Today they have an AMA, so do check them out. And again, even having the growth of the tokens, which I found that they were on the right track, we still have a roadmap that we actually need to go into multi-chain. We need to go into to sell that value proposition to other networks to get one very important thing: adoption, right? So do check out how in a particular project, what is the growth of the number of wallet holders that is coming in, because again, it takes money to make money. And if you talk about selling pressures, you need to understand how the human mind behaves, right? So when we look at the fear index, which I'm going to, this actually determines a few things, right? How much people will sell based on the selling pressure, and in terms of fear and greed. That's all it is, right? In all markets. So right now, of course, we are in a kind of an extreme fear 19. The best time, of course, to look at the fear and greed index is when it's at its lowest, which we have seen that it drops at 10. So anytime the fear and greed index hits a 10 mark, then that's the best time. It's a really a good time to look at certain coins, premium coins. I'm not talking about those outside of the premium coins. Is the best time to actually do your dollar cost average, right? So today we have, of course, the 16,000 cryptos. It's a bloodbath. You can see that Bitcoin has almost dropped more than 11% from its height. Ethereum, of course, 14%, and so forth. We have 17,000 over cryptos, 400 over exchange. Right now, 1.7 trillion dollars. So we are another maybe $400 billion short, right, to hit the time where 1 year back we were doing at about 1.3 trillion. So, and the highest we ever did was about $3 trillion, right? So very low time, guys. So we just have to be resilient, believe in the current projects or the coins that you are buying, and if you really see that value, this is the good time to constantly buy dollar cost average, right? Do the dollar cost average. So Bitcoin of course takes 40%, Ethereum takes about 20%. Three coins, we have DeFi Degen, Floki, and I don't know what is this BYK. So anyways, in the last 24 hours, Bitcoin is down by 10.93, Ethereum down by 13.57, BNB down by 11.66, Cardano down by 15.57, Solana down by 16.51, XRP down by 10.86, Terra Luna down by 13.88, and Polkadot of course is down by 14.76. Now Terra Luna of course still in the ninth place because during the bear in the last couple of weeks, everybody went on Terra Luna as a stable coin, and then the market started to pick up. So it was kind of a fake out. We did talk about this in the Telegram group. We shared about the there is a potential fake out, and lo and behold, it is a fake out. So look at this. If you look at this over, we are some coins are slowly starting to pick up in the last 1 hour, but the rest of the coins, I just looking at some projects. I always like to put them on Lifecoin just to get a feel of the 24 hours, 7 days, 30 days, 90 days, and up to 1 year, right? So some of the coins have actually like AVAX has reached 1 year, but this bear has actually pulled them down close to 5x. So this is one indicator to really know, are we in the full bear? And yes, for some coins, we're almost going to get wiped out in terms of, all the gains that they ever made, right? All the gains that they have ever made. So Sandbox also 27x, XRP still left a bit more before it hits red. Then, at one point of time, XRP was at the top three, right? Top three. I think this was in 2017. So you can see that right now, after this, they would have lost everything that they've gained over the last couple of years, right? So Matic also, there's a 60x there, Engine 43x, we have Mana 18x, right? CRO recently with a hack, they got hacked, and some of the wallets accounts was, but of course they have recovered back. So if you are looking to get the credit card of CRO, getting it now at 40 cents is a walk in the park, right? So Celsius also didn't do very well, and because they are also paying out, if you are the holder of Bitcoin, Ethereum, and a few other tokens, they have to actually pay out their investors. So if you have 5,000, I believe, worth of CRO tokens, you will get a credit card. If for Celsius, you'll be able to borrow leverage dollars on your collateral, which is Bitcoin. And I tell you what happens is that if you did this couple of weeks ago, you would now face a very you will actually be wiped out from the market because we did not know where Bitcoin bottom is. And so most people thought that like 40,000 is the max, and what they do, they purchase a Bitcoin at 40,000. They leverage loans on that collateral of that Bitcoin to buy more Bitcoin, and today the price has dropped, and if this price drops further, they will actually be liquidated, right? So careful with leverage, guys, because this is a market that can be easily manipulated. You might get away once, but you may not get away all the time, right? So you got to hedge, and your risk to reward ratio is like playing blackjack in the casino, right? The bankers always win because one person may become a millionaire, right? But the rest of the people would have contributed to his millions, right? And the house always wins. So you got to always keep that in mind. I'm not saying that the crypto space is gambling, but of course there is certain elements of that when you are going on speculation without standing on firmly in terms of your fundamentals, right? So just briefing on that. Let's look at the markets right now. Total market, of course, has dipped. You can see we have broke the floor. Looks like I have to go back to the charts again and amend this to see what's happening. Great time to buy, but if you are in and being a back holder, that's where we all are. That's where we all are. I share the same sentiment. And we just have to have resilience. Like we always say in the channel, this is not our first rodeo. I think Daryl will attest to this. So I'm just looking at Nabi Gaming, right? What should I do to invest my crypto investment? 13,000 has gone to 10,005, 10.5K. Shall I hold? Shall I sell? He's doing dollar cost average. He's out of funds. So yeah, I mean that's where we all are. The same thing. I can't really give the advice because I don't know which crypto you are actually investing in. So if it's premium coins, this is the best time to buy for a very simple reason. When you look at some of the premium coins that I've been looking at, right? We have BTCs, right? We have Ethereum. I'm buying a lot of Ethereum, particularly because also of raw Paul, right? The network effects, and we know that Ethereum is the Microsoft, right? Almost, Binance Smart Chain, Polygon, they were all offshoot of the Ethereum network, right? So Ethereum brought along that operating system, and all these networks are actually forking out and giving cheaper gas fees and what have you. But the basis is Ethereum. So if you are buying Ethereum now at this price, of course, you stand to benefit in the long haul, right? So dollar cost average, and the math has proven it, guys. If you look at 3 years, every week, if you had just done $100, regardless whether it was Bitcoin or Ethereum, you would have lost money in the first 2 years. I'm talking sometime from 2017 to 2020. But by the time you reach 2019 and the adoption came in at 2020, you would have recovered back above and beyond what you have ever dreamed of, right? So you gotta have patience in this game. You gotta be in for the long haul. Always think in terms of investment. There will be a certain portion of your portfolio that you will do trading, and there will be a certain portion of your portfolio that you will gamble. So be clear which mode of approach that you are taking, because you don't want to be gambling in every coins without knowing the intrinsic value or what is being proposed and whether they will be around for the next year, right? Next coming year. Um, AVAX also good time to buy. Look at the support and resistance. So all of this has actually broken the support and resistance, and that becomes enticing for those who missed out in this 1 year, right? We started this adoption sometime in 2021, the start of 2021. We had a very amazing run up, and now the people, I mean the regulators also now get a sense of the amount of volume of money that is coming in. Even Cathy Wood also was saying that based on the GDP, right? When we look at GDP, it is a scorecard that the world uses, except for Bhutan, who measures happiness of the people, right? They are looking at the exchange, the purchase of goods and services. Now, most of the young people aged between 24 to 40 are actually buying into the crypto. They are buying hard assets, guys. And I mean, I'm way past the 20 stage. But we never had this opportunity as retailer to get into the market, because the barrier to entry for that creation of wealth was already tapered, right? With policy makers, with people that were in that particular space. That's why I always challenge. I say, find me a product or services in today's market, in the old financial traditional, that can protect my capital, that can give me 10%. I'm not asking for 10% weekly, just 10% annually. Can it grow that money 10% annually while protecting my capital? And only there's two banks right here in Singapore, Merrill Lynch and Sir Templeton. And when I call the banks, I asked them whether they can do this for me. What the banks told me was, sir, do you have $2 million worth of assets? $2 million worth of assets. Now, if I had $2 million worth of assets, why would I need to call the bank to put in my money, right? I would have just bought a few condos and rent it out for like 3,000 each, and I don't need to work. I have passive income that is coming in. So there's a lot of things that are in play, and that's why I love the crypto space, because of that value unlock. There's no middleman. It is just me and the current protocol. They don't pay board of directors. They only just pay the programmers. They pay the marketing team, right, to market, to shield the coin, to get in more wallets, more money into the protocol, into the code, into the network. So understanding this, then you start to see the value, and you take a step back, and if you read the codes, the answers are in the codes, not what they print on the website. And that's the job of Root Zones. If you're new to this channel, this is what we do. We find that value proposition and we tell you in the layman term, so that you don't have to spend that time to really kind of crack the code, right? Try to understand that. So Matic, of course, still we had a very nice run up in the last couple of weeks towards Christmas time. Now we have hit that rock bottom. So again, Matic, you've seen this was close to how many percent drop is this? This is about a 40% drop Another one to look at is FTM. They've been very strong. They're still considered quite high today, and a lot of them are using FTM and they are staking on the FTM platform. So this is a network that we'll be slowly looking into and finding some of the best things that you guys can do. And yeah, that's all I have today, guys. So I hope Nabi Gaming, I hope I have answered your question. Keep doing the dollar cost average. You might have run out of funds. That's normal. All of us are retailers. We face that, so we always have to wait paycheck to paycheck. But the good thing is you got started, and we are still considered very early in terms of the adoption. Yes, there are regulators coming in because they know that this monster of Bitcoin can become a big issue in terms of control. They already know that at the 60,000 mark, if this thing ever hit 100,000, it will be very difficult to control Bitcoin. And I think there's a game that is being played not only by countries but also within institutions as well as policy makers, right? Not saying that it's bad or good, but everybody are trying to protect their best interests. So you got to always understand the nuances in the market, and so that should be part of your risk assessment when you are doing any investment. So again, I just want to sum up for Friday today. Know your fundamentals, understand your technicals, understand the risks, and understand the cash flow. And you guys should be well equipped enough to make a decision. So with that, Daryl is saying hoping KDA to be the top 10. Yeah, I think there's a few things, Daryl, that I'm looking at. KDA, I'm looking at Flux. Let me just see what's happening to Flux. KDA. Let's check out KDA. So Cardano, looking at my Fibonacci right now. Yeah, so we had a very nice run up. Very nice run up, guys. Very nice run up. We had close to 3x, right? Just sometime in November. And now we are back to where we first start, right? So that's a 3x up and a 3x down, right? Or 76% down. But from the bottom, this height was, it was about it's about 300 and about 324%. So again, and especially if you see a lot of the YouTubers that was shilling KDA, imagine how great the technology is and look at the current price. So for those who actually miss out, this is a good time to buy. For those who have become back holders or having a moon back, this is a good time to do that dollar cost average. Again, it's really subjective. That's why we always look at finding the best opportunities to create cash flow so that you don't depend on your salary, your pay to actually do the dollar cost average. You use the crypto to get that interest and reinvest that into great projects that has a potential to move. So KDA, of course, I need to go and check because there are some opportunities for passive income. I think that's where we should be going. But if you're looking for capital appreciation, of course, now looking at this chart, we just crossed the 140 day moving average, right? Almost like a death cross, which indicates a great time to buy. Look at the RSI. RSI is here. Money index show that money has came out. Sellers are in the market. Momentum has become a bit low. So it might move back to picking up momentum and trying to go up. So good time to buy this. The other one is also Flux. So they come in tandem. And right now, Flux is still considered expensive. It's still holding up strong. Times like this, what I also do is look at the market and see which networks, which projects are actually doing well in the bear market, because it will give you a sense in terms of their pricing model, how they handle the bearish market. So can you imagine buying a strong coin, a strong token, right, that has the ability to weather the bear? And imagine when the bull rally comes in, how exponential that particular project would explode. So these are things that we look forward to, and maybe we'll do a segment to share with you guys, and maybe share with you in the Telegram group. So guys, have a great Friday. Do check out again, the Titano is having an AMA. So let's see what's happening over on that side. If there's no further questions, we'll end this and we'll see you in the Telegram group. Take care.
Diamonds on your neck, bet they on your neck. You want that watch, you better rock it tech. You want that chain, you better cop a vest.